Hey folks, this is Damien of Southpaw Designs, and today we're going to look at 6 of the biggest mistakes that new CNC woodworkers can make when designing and cutting their builds. I'm still relatively new to CNC, so I'm still making mistakes while I'm learning, and I want to pass some of that on to you. What suggestions would you give? Once you're finished watching this video, go down to the comments section and help me and others by sharing your own words of wisdom. Number 1, use the right tool for the job. It's easy to just grab a bit and start cutting, but you've got to be careful. Different bits perform different jobs, and using the correct bit will make your job easier, safer, and give you better results. You simply can't grab a random straight flute bit from your standard bit collection and start cutting. For example, upcut bits are generally great for clearing out material and leaving a smoother bottom surface, but will leave a rougher finish on the top contours because it's pulling all of those fibers up while cutting. Alternatively, a downcut bit will do the opposite, leaving a cleaner top surface but a rougher bottom surface. You also need to properly adjust the depth of your cut and step over. The step over is the amount of material that's actually removed with each pass. The recommended settings will usually be set within your design software if you choose the proper bit. You may be tempted to set a larger step over to speed up your build, but that can leave a rougher finish on the bottom of your pockets, as well as possibly breaking your bits. I typically set my step over to be no more than half of the bit diameter when cutting pockets. Early on, I broke a couple of bits by trying to be too aggressive and trying to speed up the process with my passes. Number 2, know your orientation point. Depending on your software, you'll probably have the option to set the orientation point, which is where your CNC starts the project. I typically set this point to be at the bottom left-hand corner of my project on the top of my material. This is important because this is how your CNC knows where the material is in relation to your router and where to cut. If you set the X and Y coordinates incorrectly, then your CNC will cut on the wrong part of your material, but set the Z coordinate wrong and you could cut into your spoil board, T-track, or worse. You can actually break a bit. Hey, at this point, I'd like to take a quick moment to ask you to go down and hit that handy red subscribe button. I launched this channel a little less than a month ago, and I'm having a blast creating content, and your subscription, likes, and comments help this channel grow. It shows me that you value what I'm doing and tells me to keep doing it. Also, at the end of this video, in the description below, I'll have links to other CNC related playlists on my channel. Next, know your material. Knowing the material thickness and type of material that you're cutting is incredibly important. Make sure that you measure your material before cutting. A piece of plywood may be advertised at 3/4 of an inch, but the actual size may vary, and as we all know, if it's going to be off, it's probably going to be thinner than advertised, not thicker. This is especially important when you're cutting out objects entirely, because if you incorrectly set your cut depth, you could cut directly into your spoil board. I mean, it's called a spoil board or a waste board, so we know we're going to cut into it from time to time, but we still want to make sure to take care of it. And also, you could go too deep and easily cut into your T-track or even your table, which not only can damage those materials, but possibly your bits and your router as well. Also, I'm adding links in the description below to the materials, bits, and tools that I've used. If you decide to make a purchase, I'd appreciate it if you'd actually use those links. I get a small percentage from any product sold, and this costs you nothing extra, but it helps to support the channel. Next, know your feeds and speeds. MDF, aluminum, acrylic, black walnut, these are all very different materials and results will vary, so they all have different speeds and recommended plunge depths. It's important to set the correct material within your design software so it knows what it's actually going to be cutting. This type of material will usually be set in your design software, so make sure to indicate your wood species or material, and if you're new to CNC, I'd recommend just at least starting with those defaults. Speeds and feeds will vary depending on the number of flutes, size of the bit, material being used. So unless you really know what you're doing or have a specific reason for overriding those settings, my advice is to go with the defaults. Next, know your clearance height. Your clearance height is the height that your router will raise when moving from one work area to another. There are two common problems that can arise from not properly setting your clearance height, or at least two that I can think of. The first can happen if you're using certain types of hold-down clamps. It's possible that your CNC can run over those clamps, damaging both the clamps and likely snapping your bit or damaging your router in the process. And the last suggestion, don't forget to turn on your router. This one's a no-brainer. I made that mistake once and only once. In one of my first attempts to use my brand new CNC, I had everything set up. It was perfect. I loaded the program, hit play, watched it plunge into the material. It was at that point that I realized that in my excitement to get started, I actually forgot to turn on the router. So it plunged 1/4 of an inch into the material and immediately snapped off. Always turn on your router before hitting that run button. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Again, it would mean the world to me if you go down and hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, share this out, hit the like button, all that stuff, because it shows YouTube that what I'm doing is valuable and helps get the word out. I appreciate you guys, and if you have any suggestions for other videos that you'd like to see, please leave them in the comments below and let me know.